Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This was said by Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors of Rome and one of the most influential men who had ever walked the earth. But he was not a stereotypical ruler that only cares about money and power. You see, Marcus had a passion for philosophy and understanding human nature from a young age. Despite being the most powerful man in the world, he taught us in his personal journal, Meditations, that true happiness lies in the quality of our thoughts. And there he also shared much more of his brilliant wisdom that is still relevant to this day. And in this video, I will teach you how you can use some of it in your day-to-day life. Hello, kings and queens. My name is the Improvement King, and welcome to the Improvement Kingdom. Before I start talking about Marcus Aurelius, let me ask for one thing. Please consider subscribing, since that would really help our kingdom grow. Now, please excuse my annoyance, and let's get back to the video. I personally think Marcus Aurelius is one of the most interesting people who ever walked the earth. The guy was Roman emperor, when Rome was the biggest empire in the world, so he was basically the most powerful man on the earth. But despite that, Marcus didn't misuse his power, but was really humble and tried to be the best version of himself every single day, which should inspire all of us kings. You know, Marcus Aurelius became a consul, which is the second most powerful position in Rome after the emperor at the age of just 19. But he remained fair and down to earth, even when he became the Roman emperor, which not many emperors of Rome did back in the day. As I said earlier, Marcus had a keen interest in philosophy and was living life by stoic philosophy. I know that some of you may not be familiar with stoic philosophy. So let me break down to you what it's all about and how men and women that preached stoicism lived. And after that, I will break down the most powerful stoic idea that may have big impact on your life. And I think it can potentially completely change your perspective of the world. The wise Stoics lived their lives in the practice of the virtues. You see, Stoics lived by practicing many virtues, but there are four main and most important ones. I'm talking about wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. They believed that to reach eudaimonia, a well-lived life, one must live by them and follow them. The Stoics use logic to deal with problems, and they rationally explain the circumstances of life, and that way, they understand the world too. Stoic is not afraid of discomfort or pain or death, but his biggest fear is that he would let himself or his loved ones down. Marcus in his journal often emphasized the idea of being the citizen of the world. He tried to treat everyone with kindness and help everywhere he could because he believed that we were created by God, whose only intention is to do good and to be just. But don't get me wrong, Stoics didn't believe in the God that Christians and I believe in, but they and Marcus believed in Logos, which is basically the prime power of space and basically sets the order on the earth. Stoic also lives in accordance with nature. He has complete control over his actions and is not a slave of his desires. I think Marcus Aurelius wrote something in a sense that a man that makes a mistake in the grip of desire is making a worse mistake than a man that made a mistake whilst being angry. Good Stoics live very humbly, and they do not really need wealth or fame or sexual gratification, because Stoics held that these things in themselves neither contribute to nor detract from a happy life, so they are indifferent to them. Only thing that Stoic cares about is doing the right thing. But I think the most powerful and practical idea that Stoics and Marcus live by is the idea of worrying only about things you can control and are in your reach, and working on improving them and completely avoiding things that you cannot change. What a simple idea. But you see, many people tend to constantly overthink their past or future and bring unnecessary negativity to their life by not focusing on the present and how they can actually improve things. Because overthinking won't help. I can honestly say I was a big overthinker back in the day. I was always in a maze of revisiting my past and worrying about the future, and that brought me nothing but anxiety. The practice of meditation really helped me to manage overthinking, so I encourage you to start meditating daily if you haven't started yet. But I'm not going to talk about meditation in this video, although I promise I will make a video about it in the future. But I recommend you to watch Doctor Huberman's or Hamza's video about meditation to understand it better. I can sincerely tell you that it helped me a lot, so I advise you to give it a shot. Now let me tell you one quote from Marcus Aurelius. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. I encourage you to pause the video, close your eyes and think about that quote for some moments. Do you agree with Marcus? Because I personally do. Did that ever happen to you? Imagine you're a young, ambitious entrepreneur, and your online business is starting to blossom. You are now making a good 5K a month, but it all suddenly fails. You stopped getting sales because you did a terrible job with marketing and your products are really low in quality. So you are now rapidly falling back to zero. You are now left with two options. You can walk away from entrepreneurship because you failed and you are depressed, and you are starting to think that you are a loser, a complete nobody. You can overthink it as much as your brain possibly can, and so on and so on. Or you can take the stoic path. You can look at what happened and analyze it. You would realize that you have made a flaw in marketing and that your made-in-China AliExpress products are worth nothing and break down after a couple of uses. So you say to yourself, okay, these things need improvement and I need to learn from my mistakes. So when you start a new business later, you are more successful because your previous mistakes were like a good teacher to you, and now you're making 10K a month. You basically get the point. Some things that will happen in your life will for sure seem quite like a problem or even devastating. But you will not fall into the rabbit hole of self-destructive thoughts, since now you know that they are not serving you any value. But I know that bad things happen to everyone, and sometimes it's hard to take the suffering as a lesson. But note that those self-destructive thoughts will completely destroy you if you don't cut them off right now, because there will be plenty of things in your life that you will have zero control over. But Stoics and Marcus teach us that we can always control our mind, our thoughts, and our perspective of things in the world. Now, how can you use it? A couple of weeks ago, I implemented a new habit to my life. It's journaling. So when I worry about something that I know I can change, I write it down in my journal and think about ways that I could sort it out, and then I write down my so-called improvement plan. So let's say I struggle with consistency of my workouts. I want to wake up early and work out before school, but I hate getting out of my bed in the mornings. So how can I sort it out? Can I put my alarm clock on the other side of the room, so I have to get out of bed and find it in order to turn it off? Well, nothing is stopping me from doing that. Can I put my workout clothes next to my bed the previous day so I don't have to search for anything in the morning? Heck yeah, I can. Can I go to bed a half an hour earlier so I'm more relaxed and fresh in the morning that way? Well, yeah, I can try it. You see, I found a solution and now I know exactly what to do. And now there's no need to have that inner anger and frustration in myself for not being consistent. You know, Stoic accept the circumstances of life that happen to them with no anger or complaints because they believe in God's providence and unmatched wisdom. So they know that all of the things happen for a reason, because nothing new can be made if something isn't constantly changing. I, as a Christian, believe in God's providence and that all things happen for a reason. I would be curious to hear from my Muslim or Hindu brothers, or from brothers with other religions, about their belief in their God's providence in the comments. When I read Meditations, I was really fascinated by the fact that it's still applicable to this day. You know, I think Stoic philosophy is quite timeless. Some of the passages in Meditations are just an infinite source of wisdom and are a spring of motivation. So I definitely recommend you to read Meditations because it had a big impact on my life, and I think it will have a big impact on yours too. So kings and queens, remember the quote from Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And that, kings and queens, was all for today's video. I really hope that you found this video helpful, and if so, I would appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe. You can also share the video to a friend that needs some guidance in his life. Don't be afraid to comment your thoughts in the comments down below, because remember, we're trying to build a supportive community of young, improving kings. You'll find links to my other social media where I post self-improvement and motivational content, and link to the Self-Improvement Kingdom on Discord down below in the description of the video. Also, I will put links to Hamza's and Doctor Huberman's videos about meditation there too. This is the Improvement King signing off, and until the next time, keep shining improvement, kings and queens.